Movie reviews, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2.
Because I have something worth living for.
Harry, Ron and Hermione must face increasing perils as they track down Voldemort's soul, divided into hidden objects or Horcruxes. The last film had felt like such a massive disappointment to me. Poor direction and acting turned a potentially moving and important Potter story into an indifferent one. When you feel little or no connection with the death scene of one of your main characters, you know there's something amiss. As a result, my expectation for this 7th helping of Potter was pretty low. But I'm happy to say that this film was everything that the last one wasn't. From the outset, the serious tone of the film captivates you, and the action-packed scenes keep you interested. And most importantly, you really care about this beautifully shot and paced film. My only reservation would be that its epic length and occasionally quite frightening and even bleak scenes will have the effect of alienating its younger fans. The film is a 12A, which seems a bit of a shame really, as I'm sure if it was slightly less scary, it would be loved by younger kids too. Having said this, however, to tone it down would maybe be to lose some of what makes this a great film. So herein lies the difficulty with the later Potter films. Not quite adult enough for the adults, not quite young enough for the youngsters. It occasionally falls into the trap of pleasing neither fully, yet at other times manages to reach across the age barriers as, simply put, a great family film. The only other qualm, and it's a small one really, is that as this is part 1 of a 2-parter, we're left without the usual inclusion of a proper crescendo, which is kind of disappointing at the end of a lengthy film. Overall, however, this is a great film. It's probably my favourite since Prisoner of Azkaban, and it's a must-see for any fan of the films or books. And I give the part 1 of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows 4 out of 5 stars. Only one may live, Harry or Voldemort, in this spellbinding finale to one of the finest children's series of recent times. Deathly Hallows Part 2 manages to both stand on its own as an excellent film and also effectively weave in elements of the other 6.5 films that preceded it, acting as a fitting end to a great film franchise. This film in particular is epic, with battle scenes to almost rival some of the Lord of the Rings spectacles. One of my bugbears with the early films is that the CGI wasn't so great, but it seems much more improved here, and I particularly thought the dragon was amazing. The pacing and dedication to making the best film possible is also evident. This is leagues above The Half-Blood Prince. One slight criticism I've had is that the films have tried to outdark each other from the 3rd film onwards, to the degree where this is probably too dark and violent for most younger children. And it's a shame, though I can't see how they could have lightened it without losing the drive or feel of the film. It also means that the comic relief that Rupert Grint and others brought to the early films is missing somewhat. This is a heavy film finale. But saying this, it's also rarely inaccessible and it's action-packed throughout too. I still have a problem with some of the portrayals of the characters. The relationship between Harry and Ginny still seems quite forced and wooden, for example. But for the most part, the cast put on really effective performances, including Mr. Ratcliffe himself. I took my godson to see this film and he was captivated throughout. I noticed many other kids his age were also sat transfixed at the film, and as they a generation who basically grew up alongside Harry, I realised just how important this coming-of-age film was to them. As with any great writing, universal age-old philosophical issues underpin the story. The duality of man, the idea that we all possess the potential to be both Harry or Voldemort, depending on the choices that we make in life. And that ultimately, it is these choices that define who we are. Deep stuff for a kid's film. But then, this is what separates a great film from a good one. And this is what will no doubt make the Harry Potter series last the test of time, as this generation's answer to the Narnia Chronicles. An excellent and fitting finale to a great series of films, and I've given Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 4 out of 5 stars.